Hey y'all, today I'm taking advantage of the 50-degree Fahrenheit weather outside, the clear blue skies, and the warm greenhouse to get some alliums going. I've got onions, shallots, and leeks, and I need to get them in some soil and get them started. So follow. One of the things I do before I start any of my seeds is I sift the soil. I use coffee, and this is what I end up with. See if I can maneuver the camera so you can take a look. I get a nice, loose, fluffy mix, and that's perfect for seed starting. Typically, I use a mixture of cocoa coir, some mushroom compost or worm castings, and some vermiculite to start my seeds. What I'm doing this year, I had some bagged potting soil left over, so I'm using that and just adding a little bit of granular fertilizer very lightly to it so that it will provide some soil nutrition for the seedlings. No matter what you do, do not bring potting soil from outside and use it in your greenhouse or in your seed starting room. Ask me how I know, but you're going to get fungus gnats galore and an assortment of aphids, ants, all kinds of pests. I've brought in slugs, I've brought in aphids, I've had fungus gnats everywhere. You just don't want to do it. So whether you're using a bagged potting soil or cocoa coir and some kind of mix, just don't bring it from outside and use it inside. Next up is to get your markers ready, your tags, and believe me, do this, it's important. I don't know how many times I've planted things and thought, oh, I'll remember it, I won't forget what's there, and then I'm always surprised by what comes up. So I've got my tags ready. I'm going to go ahead and put them in my containers. Just a little tip from someone who learned the hard way. Don't use Sharpies to mark your tags. I know they're supposed to be permanent, but they're not. They will fade in the sun, and eventually you won't be able to read what you've planted. That's especially true with red Sharpies. I use a garden marker. I get these off Amazon. They're pretty inexpensive. I've had these a couple of years and they're still growing strong. So they're an alcohol-based marker, and I can clean my tags with rubbing alcohol, but they last through the summer. Unlike starting them in seed trays where I would put 1 or 2 seeds per seed tray hole, I'm just scatter sowing them. So I just take a handful and just drop them in, kind of. So I've got the leek seeds in my containers, and I'm just going to take a really light amount of potting soil and put over the top and just sort of tap it down. Notice they're not planted very deeply, they're just kind of laying on top of that soil. Kind of spread it out a little bit. I always put the date on my tag that I planted the seeds. That way, if too much time goes by and I don't have anything coming up, I'll know that those seeds weren't necessarily viable. I suppose you could do germination tests, but I've never had an issue with that, so I don't do it. I just mark the date. So I've got them in a sunny spot in the greenhouse. I keep the greenhouse heated at night. It never goes below about 45. So I don't need to worry about frost. The nice thing about doing this instead of seed trays is I can just put a simple tray underneath these to water them when it's time, when they're dry. Because there's enough soil in here, they won't dry out quickly, and it's pretty humid in my greenhouse, so they should be okay. So that kind of sums up how I start my alliums, and I start most of my seeds a similar way, using milk jugs. I don't use seed trays. I just find it easier to go with milk jugs and give them a lot of good soil to get them off to a good start. So if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like and subscribe button. It helps my channel grow, and I appreciate it so much. Take care, y'all.